it's Cheryl. Welcome back to Muppin Sewing Emporium. How are you doing tonight? I hope you are doing wonderfully well. I am live to you through the power of the internet, live from beautiful downtown Paducah, Kentucky, where it is at 82 degrees today. It is warm and it's actually gorgeous outside. So it's Easter weekend. Happy Good Friday. I am very excited to get this party started. I've got some just to double check. Last week we did all of this, all of the video production. None of the screens that showed the other camera worked, and that was a real big problem. So I wanted to make sure that we have that camera working today, and it looks like we do, which is amazing. Hooray! So before we get to all of this, last week it was full. We were full of tech gremlins. We had all the cameras stopped working. We had all kinds of problems, but it looks like we've got them fixed today. If you're out there and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Say hello. Tonight we don't have any real. We don't have anything like super special in the thermos tonight. We just have water. So I do have some new product to show you, but then, my friends, we're gonna do the tufting demo that I was supposed to do last week. So once again, if you're out there, tell me where you're watching from, and that should get us started. Okay, so tonight, and I am just going to open this back up. I do want to keep making sure that this video does go over to the other side. Yes, so it does work. Hooray! I'm so excited. Okay, so as we get closer to Quilt Week, and can I just say, Quilt Week is like right around the corner, you guys. Quilt Week is the last full week of April, and all of downtown is getting ready. And we are very busy. It is and at the National Quilt Museum, the first thing that has happened that this week is Tula Pink's big giant quilt exhibit went up, and people are loving it. So if you had a plan to come to Paducah and see the National Quilt Museum, now is a really good time, because Tula Pink's quilts are on display. So are Latifa Safir. Latifa is the co-founder of the Modern Quilt Guild. And Janet Stone's quilts are on display. All 26 of her alphabet quilts are on display. It is an incredible time to come and see the quilts at the National Quilt Museum. Okay, so of the many things, and I mean many things, that we have coming into the shop, this is just a very, very, very small portion. Charlotte's here. Hello, Charlotte. How are you tonight? We have this lovely bundle from Lori Holt, and she's doing something new this time with her various. She's doing things in what she's doing 2 colorways, and this colorway is called Berry and Sage. And so obviously these are the sage colors, these are the berry colors, and then we've got some neutrals in here. But let's give this a flip through because these I think you're gonna love. If you not have seen any Lori Holt's collections, this one is a great one. The thing that I like about this is that it doesn't have, like, Lori Holt is known for doing giant collections, like enormous collections. Oh, Charlotte says she's good. She's been traveling. That's been fun. Okay. So Lori Holt normally does these huge stacks of like all these different colors, like 30, 40 fabrics at a time. And this one, I have to say, it feels very approachable. It feels very manageable. And I think that's why I like it so much. So this here, Berry and Sage, we're going to just flip through this really quickly. So you've got, of course, a focus fabric that has both the berry and the sage. These ones, the thing about Lori's fabrics is they have that feeling of like vintage but yet not. Okay, so vintage but new, vintage but modern. And I think that's why I like her fabrics so much. You've got this lovely little, like, look at that little tossed little flower there. We've got another one in more of a sage and pink. And oh my goodness, check this out. So if you are not familiar with like tea towels, my friends, these are tea towel designs that she has miniaturized. And can I just say, like, these bees, I know I have these bee uh, uh, a tea towel with these on it. Okay. And you'll see here that they've got, the ones doing housework and the kitty cats and this rooster. She's got all kinds of like embroidery designs on this tea towel color, which is really cute. Look at this micro print. Very calico feeling. Doesn't that feel like grandma's kitchen? It just is so lovely. She's got such a great design sense for that vintage yet still modern kind of collection, which I absolutely adore. And these berry colors are just, they're not quite red and they're not quite pink. They are a true, like, kind of berry red color. They're, I wouldn't even say, like, I mean, even this darker one is just like a hair to the maroon side, and this one is just a hair to the pink side. And I know that's probably not coming across very well on the screen, but trust me, they're just really, really pretty. We've got now into the sage colors with just that little pop of the berry in it, which is really lovely. So we do have this one is a repeat of one in the other colors, which is really nice. All of these are just precious. And this one's kind of almost like a gingham, very micro gingham. Jody, I know these are so pretty. You should pick some up when you come in to pick up your t-shirts. Okay, so you've got some stripes, you've got some dots, you've got some ginghams, you've got just a really, really pretty colorway. And so here's what she's doing. She's doing these sort of combo 2 colorways at a time instead of the like 120 colors at once thing. Sonia is correct. Whimsy meets Granny's Kitchen. Very exciting. It is very Granny's Kitchen. And I do think that you're going to love these when you see them. They're so yummy. The next two colors that she has coming in, so she's doing berry and sage, and the next one is like denim blue and yellow, and they're just as gorgeous. Jody, yes. I think, you're going to see all the things that we have in new right now, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's kind of a lot, which is great. Okay, so here's the berry and sage. We've got these in fat quarters. We have them in the 5-inch charm pack. Okay, there's 42 in here. You're going to get duplicates of each of these. And then we also brought it in on a jelly roll. The reason I brought it in on the jelly roll, right? And the denim blue, it's so pretty. It's like a yellow and denim. You're gonna have to see it. It's so pretty. That's not out yet though. That's coming out later this summer. This, I thought of all of this. This is gonna make a fantastic jelly roll rug. Okay, so for those of you that have never done a jelly roll rug, this is going to be like, this would be an incredible jelly roll rug. Oh yes, Sonia, Christmas but tweaked. Okay, you're not wrong. And even though this is not even in the Christmas, like, yes, we have a lot of Christmas coming in at Christmas. Well, that's all June. We're not getting that until June. But this would make a jelly roll wreath, but also a jelly roll rug, which, the standard jelly roll rug takes one jelly roll to make, and it makes a very decent sized oval rug. We carry the rug pattern and we have the batting, all the tools, but you're going to want this jelly roll just to make that rug because it's going to be incredible. So, Jody agrees. I don't know if that's her agreeing that they're Christmas colors or that it's jelly roll rug amazingness, but that's why we brought in the extras. Typically I bring in like the fat quarter stacks and just leave it. But this one I liked so much that I did go in on the 5-inch charm pack and the jelly roll itself. So I say, oh, you said, Jody's like, yes, I want the rug. Yes. It's going to make a beautiful, this in a kitchen. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. So cute. Grandma kitchen, granny kitchen, so cute. I'm telling you, you make the rug, if you make it a circle, make it a circle, cut that circle in half and do half moons, just put a binding on the edge, put one in your kitchen, one in your bathroom. So there's a million ways to do that with this particular collection. I think you're really going to like it, but these are in stock. Now, we have to talk real quick about Tula Pink. So, I don't know if you all heard, but Tula Pink's exhibit is up at the museum. And yes, after you get your new floors, it'll christen your new floors, Charlotte. I love it. That's a great place for a couple of jelly roll rugs. There you go. Tula Pink's exhibit is up at the museum. It's incredible. You have to go see it. But also, next week, all of the Tula floral wreath, all 25 bolts of it, is coming to the shop. This is your chance. If you want the full set of fat quarters or the full set of half yards or yards, now would be the time to put your last minute pre-orders for Floral Reef. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of Floral Reef, because I'm pretty sure we showed it way back when it was still on its way. Oh, I don't know if I have any pictures of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. This is Floral Reef. It is coming next week. Okay. Once it hits, okay, we're already, now I can tell you, in the 2 days they put up the Tula Pink fabric, or the Tula Pink exhibit at the museum on Wednesday. So it's been up technically for 2 days. And so yesterday was like a soft launch, and uh these folks are like hungry for Tula as soon as they get done at the museum. So we're going to get a lot of people looking for Tula Pink in here. And I don't want you guys, who are my like fast, loyal, viewers and all of that, I don't want you to miss out. So if there is anything in this collection that you want, I need you to send me a message either through Facebook or YouTube and tell me which one of these you want, and I will make sure that I pull that aside for you. Because once we put it out, we are giving away a free pattern with the orders for Floral Reef. That means if you come in and you buy a yard or whatever in the store, or if you buy some off of our website, you will get the free pattern. You're not going to want to miss out on this free pattern, and that will all be announced next week. So pre-orders are getting the free pattern, and if you want any of this when it hits our doors, the first thing we do is we cut all of our pre-orders before it goes out on the show floor. When folks come in for Tula Pink, they're gonna be like, this is gonna be a big deal. Okay, so if there's anything Tula Pink that you want, now is your chance, because we're gonna go through a lot of it. It has been a long time since I've seen people this excited about like a designer, but that is not all. Okay, because there is some crazy stuff coming down the line, and I am just trying to pull my next screen together because you're gonna love this. But this next collection, you are not going to want to miss this. She has, in my opinion, like, I always like to say that Tula Pink is like a modern day Lisa Frank. For those of us that love the vintage Lisa Frank. Okay, if you had Lisa Frank on your Trapper Keeper with the unicorn and the neon colors, she's like kind of tapping into that for us. Well, this new collection is called Legendary, and it's pretty legendary, I have to admit. All right, so it's called Legendary. As you can see, it's got a phoenix, so we are tapping into the absolute like legendary creatures. Sonia is absolutely tripping for the fantasy collection. You guys, I cannot tell you how amazing this is going to be, because it is going to be It's going to be amazing. Take a look at what she's doing here. These are what's coming in October, and we are taking pre-orders for full collection of fat quarters, half yards, and yards. Yes, you're seeing unicorns, you're seeing dragons, you're seeing the phoenix, and you're also seeing fairies. That is the very top left-hand corner is those butterflies. They are not butterflies, they are fairies. So the butterfly wings are the fairy wings. It's incredible. I'm so excited for these, you guys. I have I cannot tell you how awesome this stuff is, but we've got these, all of these coming, and it's wild. So this collection right here is the one you're going to pre-order for October. The other one, okay, this one here is coming in next week. So underwater theme, it's called Floral Reef, and it's very watery. It's got sort of like underwater scenes with like hidden sharks and all kinds of cool, crazy stuff. So, if you didn't think that that was enough, we've got the next one, or the last one, that is coming in July. So this one is coming in the middle of our Tula summer, okay? Because we are doing a summer of Tula. Let me try to hide all of these others here that we've got. And so the last one that we have coming is Prince Charming, and this collection is coming in July. So we've got April, Floral Reef. July, we've got Prince Charming, and then October, Legendary. All of these can be pre-ordered right now on our website. Oh, wait, where do we go? There we go. Okay, so it's pretty cool. I'm very excited for our summer of Tula. There is already an incredible amount of excitement here in Paducah for Tula Pink. Fat quarters of the Floral Reef, yes, you can. Let me just double check, because these are all on our website. Go to pre-orders. Floral Reef, am I out of those? No, I am not. So you can still get Floral Reef fat quarters on our website. So I say go ahead and order it if you want us to cut you a bundle. Prince Charming is... There are so many people excited about the Prince Charming. So if you do not know what her Deja Vu collections are, what they do is... So Prince Charming has actually been released in the past, and what she does is she takes the previous like a previous collection that is out of print. Now, understand, there are people who collect this stuff, and she takes one of those collections that is out of print and she reprints it, but in new colorways, and then sometimes adds little new things to one or two of the prints. But the idea is, if you are new to Tula Pink and you want to jump on, but you love those older collections, this is a chance for you to get some without you if you have it, then you just add this to your collection. If you've never had it, this is your chance to get some. So she really does have this way of reprinting her lines without like creating any problems for the collectors, because there are collectors who collect her fabrics. And there are fabrics out there of hers that run for like $200, $300, $400 a yard. And so all of these are pre-orderable. We have an entire page of pre-orders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that link our into the chat so that you have that, and then that way everybody can go to that place and see it. So let me just pull it. I'm hitting the button. There we go. And all destinations post. Okay, so that's going to get you the link to all of the pre-orders. It's going to be an amazing time here in Paducah. We got the whole summer, and we're having a summer of Tula. And we are putting our Quilt Week window together. I cannot wait for you guys to see our Quilt Week window. It's chef's kiss. So, okay, let's do this demo. Now, I will say that last week, I came on here. I was very excited to do this demo. And, oh shoot, I just closed it. Let's see if I can get it back. There we go. And show in, there we go. Okay. So all of last week, all this week, I should say, I have been trying to fix this problem from last week. And I could not get it to whatever. It would not load. It wouldn't do anything. So that really stunk. But it looks like it's ready. It looks like it's working. Yeah, this was this was my gremlin problem from last week. Okay, so here's what I'm making. And I know it doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but eventually this is going to be a Christmas tree. This, my friends, is tufting. And for those of you that have not seen me do one of these tufting demos before, you know that we sell tufting templates that are reproductions of vintage tufting templates that I found in an old sewing box, an antique sewing box that I purchased. And it had these metal templates inside. And after I asked a bunch of friends who deal with sewing antiques, and they said, oh, these are stump work templates. They're tufting templates. And I was like, what are you talking about? I need to figure out how to do this. So what I am doing here is I am taking my template and I have secured it onto the background. Charlotte, see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. And what this is going to be is a Christmas tree. And what I wanted to have were little specks of Christmas lights throughout the Christmas tree, as if it had already been had the Christmas lights all put throughout it. And while I've been sort of experimenting on this piece to figure that out. And so I have here a very large sewing needle. Okay, this is not my normal sewing needle. This is one of our sewing needles, the ones that you all love and buy from me. But this one is not that. This one is my husband likes to call my cat, is a chonker. Okay, this is a very, very chunky piece of metal. And what you want is this eye to be thick enough so that it pushes the fabric out of the way for the yarn to come in from behind it. And that's why you want a needle that has that flare at the end. Right, Tierney? How are you doing tonight? I know you're very excited about the Tula exhibit as well. Oh my gosh, we're like everybody who's come in is just like thrilled. The people who have gone over to see it already, they're just like over the moon. Okay, so as you can see, I've already secured this on with a couple of stitches of red. And I'm going to take this yellow and I'm going to use, I'm not even putting a knot in the thread. I'm just leaving a little tail, and I'm going in and just putting a stitch right in there. And then I think I'm going to put one way down here at the bottom. And these couple of random colors are just enough for the the Christmas light effect that we are going for. So now I've put on, and you can see like it doesn't really matter if these are even across from one another, because unlike this one here where we want like sort of evenness in the fluffiness of this shape, we don't care if these lights are directly across from one another. They actually look better if they're not. And actually, I wanted to show you that in this one here. See how where I put them, they're kind of just sort of embedded straight across from one another, and it doesn't look as nice as this one does where they're kind of randomly sort of placed. And I think this one looks better. So that's why I'm leaving that this way. Now I'm going to just use my green yarn, and this is just regular acrylic yarn. This is the cheap stuff. Okay, this is not like high end. And I find that if you use like cheap yarn, it kind of fluffs up better. So kind of like if you have a lot of yarn from a project, like one of these, and you just have like the little baby, skein of yarn laying around, this is a perfect thing to use it for. All right, so I'm going to create a knot, but not a huge knot. Okay, you don't want like a big honking knot on the back there because it's just going to get in the way of other stitches. So I just put like a little knot on here, and it's just enough to anchor it in the fabric. Now, I have a whole tube of these crazy giant needles, and I'm going to tell you why I'm using the one that I'm using, and it's because it has a sharper point than some of these other ones. These bigger ones, they don't necessarily have a point on them. I'm actually I can even do this with it. This one, however, is sharper. And while these are great, they make pushing through the fabric kind of difficult. And so you don't want a dull needle, or like a, what do they call it? Like a cruel needle. Because sometimes you want to be able to pierce through the fabric and let that needle come all the way out. And if your knot is not big enough, you'll pull it all the way through, just like I did. I have to tell you, I do these things on national television, and you would think that I would know how to do this stuff by now. But there you go. It's just show you that I'm a human being. Oh, it's because I pulled the knot out. I tell you. It's going to be you can tell it's going to be one of those days, right? So, okay, let's go back. Now we've got a knot. Now we've got a hole. And this is going to pop right to that knot. And I'm going straight down on the opposite side of the tip of this template. Okay, it's going to even look like I'm not really going onto the template. It's kind of not. Okay, but you're going to try to get that captured under there. And you do want enough of your yarn to stick up enough, so you're going to leave almost like a little hole. Now, on the same side that you went down into the fabric, you're going to come up on that same side, but not in the same hole, directly next to it. Okay, so just next to that hole. And you're going to pull that, and you're going to go across, and you're going to go back down. And this back and forth way is how you're going to cover this entire piece. Okay, so you're going to go across, and then where you come up, and I have the fabric really tight in this hoop. Oh, it's going through the knot on the back. I can't. Okay, and so you can see I'm now capturing the template, and you go up directly next to where you went down and across. And you want these to be very tight next to one another. Okay, and you're going to go, and the idea is that you are going to cover this entire template with stitches. You're going to just go back and forth. Now, these templates we have in the store. They're on our website. They're under our heirloom sewing tools. And we also have a book on how to make the various characters. Obviously, this is one that I am working on for Christmas. And the Christmas patterns will be out in June with the rest of Christmas stuff. We get all of our Halloween in May and all of our Christmas in June. So if you're ever wondering, when were you going to get your Christmas stuff, Cheryl? That is when. Now here we're going to go over the top of this red. You're just going to stitch right over the top of it, and it's going to start to cover it. And that's exactly what you want. And I'm going very, very close to that stitch. In some cases, you can go right into the same hole if your fabric has enough room for that to go through there. Okay, but you can see I'm covering up that red stitch, and we're just carrying on all the way through. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like on the back here. And you can see that what I'm not doing is crossing over and making a full loop under the template. The template is right, the stitches kind of nestle right up to it. And that's the barrier against which you feel underneath for where your next stitch goes. So if you go down on this side, you come back up on this side. If you cross over and go down on that side, you come back up on that side. So this is all to maximize the amount of thread that you're using, or in this case, yarn. In the past, this was a very thrifty thing to do. This was great for all of your leftover yarn. And if you were using leftover yarn, they didn't want you to waste it by going back and forth underneath, like in a complete loop. And the more economical use of the yarn was to go right up next to where your previous stitch went down. And I learned this from looking at vintage pieces. We have a vintage piece in the store. If you come into the shop, you can ask to see the vintage piece. It is 115 years old. So that is how long this technique has been going on. This is not new. I didn't invent it. I wish I did. But it is a very, very, very cool technique. Now, in order for all of this to look like one of these, you do that through a number of layers of this stitching. Typically, I will do 3 layers total. And that is not going to include the little specks. The little specks is a new technique to me. It is something that they did in the past. It's not new, as in, like, I didn't invent that either. But what the stitchers of history had done was they had just used up as many little scraps as possible. So I'll just say, for example, if this is all you have left of your yarn, if this little 2 pieces are all you have left, what they would do is they would randomly mix them in for these little pops of color. And when I saw that in a vintage piece, I thought, that's pretty cool. I should try that. And then when I thought of this Christmas tree option, I thought that's got to be perfect. Okay, so I don't know about you, but if you are the kind of person who thinks you can get one more stitch out of this, I say, God bless you. I do not want to struggle with my sewing like that. And I feel like that kind of mentality sometimes is a holdover from the Depression or holdover from leaner times. I know for a fact that my grandmother, when she taught me to sew, she was adamant that you could get one more stitch out of this, and that throwing away this much thread was very wasteful. And I have to say, personally, that we can let go of that to a certain extent. I mean, I don't consider this 2-inch piece of yarn wasteful. I've given this piece a good go. Okay. But what I do find is that, we often are sometimes shamed into feeling like we can continue, and we get to a point where we're struggling to get one more stitch out of this, and that's what makes people dislike handwork. And I often say that, the problems that people have with liking handwork or not liking handwork is sometimes the fact that of the way that they were taught. And if you were taught these thrifty conveniences, you end up, struggling at the end, and that's what make people not like what they're doing, because the end is a struggle. And I say, don't struggle over this much thread, and in this case, yarn, when you can have a much easier time of doing it, and not dislike handwork. I just think that we would all be happier if we had an easier introduction to the parts of the sewing that we don't like. I talk to a lot of people who, they hate binding. And man, I love binding. I always say, like, you could bring your binding to me and I will do it. That please don't bring me your binding because I have way too much other stuff to do. If I get caught doing other people's stuff, Charlie's like, why don't you have like a million projects to work on? And I do. I have so many projects to work on. The other thing I want you to notice too is when I cut myself a piece of this yarn, I did not cut like, okay, I know my people, and you pull off the spool and you pull this much thread, okay? Like if you're gonna pull a piece of yarn and you're pulling like this much, this is too much. This is too much, okay? First of all, you're like just stabbing your neighbor every time you pull through. You're just like, you know, um it's too much. Okay? There's two problems with that. First, don't sew with more thread than from the interior of your elbow to your fingertips. That is the perfect amount of thread. The reason is as this is going through your fabric over and over again, it's getting shredded up. And by the time you get to the end, you have like these little tails, okay? And they that is the sign of weakened fabric, weakened thread. And I'm just here to say, don't do that to yourself. Use a little shorter piece. Because the things like the knots that happen, where the thread knots up on itself, that stuff doesn't happen if you're using shorter pieces. It has a much higher tendency to curl on itself if you are using like the world's longest piece. So those are my hand sewing like tips for all of this. And to make this project and to make it look as nice as possible, you want to just take your time. And are these stitches perfect? No. That one's a little further out than I would like, but on row 2, where I'm adding a second row over the top of this, it's going to look fine. So I don't tend to like tear my stitches out or anything, because done is better than perfect. And I will tell you, if somebody is flipping this over and goes, that one stitch is further out than all the rest, I just say, I unfriend you. Okay? You are not my friend. So here I've completely covered this leaf shape, and the template is still inside there. I'm going to pause with this color for 1 second. I'm actually going to take the yarn off of the needle, and I'm going to come in here with some of this white yarn, and I'm just going to throw this on this little short piece here on the needle, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to just make a couple stitches. I just want to make sure I'm not tying the knot down, or a knot or anything. I'm just making a stitch, and then I'm going to move somewhere else, and that looks like a good spot. So I'm going to put a white mark there. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this off. Oh, maybe I'll do one more. I'll do one way down here. Okay. And Then I'm going to just cut this off right where that is. And then I'm going to put the remaining thread back on. Jody says, done is better than perfect. I need that on my wall. It's true. Because look, if someone comes up to you and is like, well, Cheryl, these are too even across from one another. What did you do there? It just like, bro, really? I'm not here for that. Okay? You will admire my work, or you will not stand in my presence. Is just, it's done is better than perfect. We look at vintage quilts all the time, and there is sometimes so many problems. You don't even look at them. You just say, oh my gosh, these vintage quilts are so beautiful, they're so amazing. Yeah, they are, and that's how it should be. Okay, so into back to this project. We're back, and this is layer number 2. So what I'm doing is I'm going right over the top of this layer with a new set of stitches, and I'm still using this piece of yarn that's already attached here. And all I'm doing is just kind of just going right on top of these previous stitches. The cool thing about this is, it's like I said, it's very forgiving technique. It's very very relaxing. I do the thing too is you can stop. You can watch TV, okay? So you can be like, oh, that's a really good juicy part of Bridgerton I'm watching, okay? And you can stop and watch your TV show and then look back down and know exactly where you're supposed to go. Because I find that that's something that I always run into is I will get watching a show and then I'm too busy watching the show and not busy enough doing the work. Okay, so this is near a knot. So there we go. And like here, where that white thread is not completely covered, it's going to be okay because there's another layer going over the top of this. So we're on layer 2, and ultimately there will be 3 layers. And I can get through like one of these leaf shapes in about a half an hour. If I'm watching TV, maybe a little bit longer. But I try to do one a night. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do right now for this project, is to do one of these leaf shapes each night. Now, there is a trick to this one. Besides the random stitches, okay, of color, the little pops of color are what are making our Christmas lights, okay, and that's how they're appearing in the greenery. But the trick on this one, and it's hard to see, but that last layer is actually a darker color. So that last layer is this color green, which is different and darker than the green that I'm using. So each of these sections is on the outside. The very last layer becomes the outside. The interior is always your first color that you put down. And then where I have randomly placed the little strands, when this is cut open, they just become little edges and they just become little dots. So that is the trick to this technique. for creating little pops of color throughout. Now, this would also be really nice if these were petals of a flower. You could say put, if they, let's say you're doing like a stargazer lily, right? And you're doing the big leaf shape of the lily, and you want to put those little darker specks of pink, like that would come near the interior of the flower. You could do that by doing these in those little straps, these little stripes. When you cut through them, they'll just end up being the little pinpoints. I hope this makes sense, what I'm talking about. If not, leave me a comment, ask me a question. I'm happy to answer it. This is a technique that I am in love with because it's very not well known, and I really like the texture, okay, because it gives like some cool dimension. um, I love also using a comb or a brush to brush these out, because they get kind of that almost like that felted look. Even the acrylic, it just looks so fun, when it's all brushed out. It's really cool. So I'm just, here to try to make this make this as fun as possible, right? I always tell people I don't do stuff that's hard, right? Mariana's here. Mariana, you're coming to Paducah, right? I know some people are planning their annual trip to the Paducah Quilt Show. I can't wait to see all of you. I'm very excited. And here's the thing. If you have seen me before, or if you are like, hey, I can't wait to see Cheryl, but I don't know if she's going to remember me, please tell me who you are. I will happily talk to you. And I have like face blindness. I tell people this all the time. Yay, Mariana's coming to Paducah. Okay, you're going to probably walk up to me and I will have no clue who you are until you tell me your name. Then I will know who you are. I cannot look at somebody's face and remember who they are. It's just, I have that thing. Yay, Mariana's going to come by. I'm very excited. We're just over the moon with our plans for Quilt Week. You've always talked to me. That's great. I'm glad. It is tough because I have taught so many students over my career. I've done this now for 15 years, and I tell people I apologize in advance if I don't remember your name, but I remember faces somewhat. I just can't put the name to the face. That's always been my problem. I can't do it. And my husband has the same problem, so he's no help either. So he's like, who is that again? And I'm like, oh, that's the person that we talked to on Friday nights during the video. And he's just like, okay, I have no clue. Like, so it takes a while. And if you're not in front of me a lot, then it's going to be hard for me to remember. But okay, we're getting down to the end here. See what I mean? When you get down to the end of your yarn piece, don't fight it. Don't make a struggle out of this, okay? It's going to make your whole situation worse. And you're just going to end up angry at the project. Don't be angry at the project. It's not its fault. All right, so I'm going to tie this one off. I'm going to create a little knot here and trim off this excess. And here's what I want to show you about pulling your threads. See how these ends here, do you see how they are like wispy, okay, your thread does this too. It's not just yarn, your thread does this too. And when it gets like that, okay, this has just been abused through the fabric over and over, and what you want is this, okay? You don't want this in your project. So that's why I say to use a shorter piece of yarn or thread, because that's going to maintain like longevity in the project. Okay. So the next step here is we're going to cover this. We're going to keep going with the last little bit here, and then the last color. We're going to throw a couple more stripes of color in there, and then we're going to cut through this. So next week, I will have one ready to cut open so that you can see how that's done. My friends, that's what we've got for you tonight. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope that you have a blessed Easter. And I can't wait to see some of you here in Paducah. So take care of yourselves. I hope you get some sewing done. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. See you all next week. Bye bye.